What we've got here is a failure to communicate. That's what we've got here. A failure. A failure to communicate is what we... Let's get to it. Welcome to Disclosure TV. Welcome to Disclosure TVs. Welcome to the disclosures of the televisions. I would like to take the time to tell you about this new disclosure. This new disclosure is about Michael Cohen. The C is silent, so I hear the C is silent. It is Michael Cohen. This man has switched sides. He has defriended his friend. And we really just don't know why. We really just don't know why. So, Michael Cohen, welcome to the Michael Cohen Senate hearing after party. Oh, it's a party. I mean, I can even give you, I can even give you a little music if that's what you want. I'm gonna give you a little music. Yeah. So we'll get us some music going on here, and there's a little music in the background to set the mood. Some war music. Anyway, so there's a little music in the background to set the mood. Some war music. So, anyway, Michael Cohen spent all day on the on Capitol Hill. Spent all day on Capitol Hill testifying about Trump and what he lied about. He pretty much said everything that I told the Senate before, I lied about. His opening statement was thanking, and I shit you not, was thanking Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats for this rare opportunity to come on TV and call himself a liar. He wanted to thank them for letting him come on TV where millions and millions and millions and millions, I can keep saying millions, of people watched him call himself a liar on live TV. That's what he thanked the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi for doing, allowing him that opportunity. That's the first thing he did. Why the hell would you go on live TV and thank the Democrats for allowing you the chance to tell 350 million people that you're a liar and that you lied? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And my thumbnail image is Droopy the dog. I'll show it to you if you haven't seen it. Yes, I made this, and I'm gonna show it to you because it's pretty funny. Before we get started, I mean, I'm so this is a thumbnail image of Michael Cohen and Droopy the dog. If you look at them both, they look exactly the same. If you look like right around the mouth area, it's Droopy the dog. It has also a flag, a surrender flag that was once red, and it seems that poor Droopy here has tried to scratch out the red and get rid of the red and paint it blue. And he wrote the words "Yay Dems" on it. And that's exactly what happened right there in that one picture. Droopy the dog is telling the story of exactly what happened. That's ridiculous. And he looks like Droopy the dog. That's funny. Poor Michael Cohen looks like Droopy. If a lot of the young people don't know, Droopy the dog is a dog character from the 1960s. So, you know what? I'm going to leave that up there. I'm going to set that right here. So, Droopy, poor old Droopy Cohen, Droopy's brother, decided that he was going to tell the entire world that he lied. Yesterday, he went behind a closed door meeting with I'm guessing the same committee, Senate hearing committee, and they took his testimony yesterday, and today was an open door hearing for the media and what he was supposed to tell all of America and all of the citizens. Now, I'd like to know what was said behind that closed door meeting yesterday. To me, that is not transparency from the government. The government does have a lot of closed door meetings, and even in my local town, they have closed door meetings. They actually have videos you can watch town meetings in my town, and then they'll say, well, hey, the rest of this is going to be closed door meetings. We can't let anybody hear. That's actually against the law. All government is supposed to be transparent. They have no authority to have a meeting and not discuss or not tell the public what they are discussing. That's called opaque. And so Cohen started off with, as I said, thanking the Democrats for allowing him to come on there and call himself a liar. He then opened up with a statement saying what he did and how he hurt his family, saying that he was a good father and that he's going to prison for in 2 months. He's going to prison. The last person to get out was Anthony Weiner, and he didn't spend very long in prison. And I told you that I would find out the laws on Senate hearing committees and their use of the prison system and how they are allowed to send people to prison without a judge's authorization. I'm not sure how that works, because even the FBI can't say, hey, you're going to jail, and that's it. They also stated that over 30 other people have been convicted in this investigation by Robert Mueller. Few we've seen, a few we haven't seen. I don't know how many people have been arrested, but we'll find out. I think it's 30. 30-something people. A lot of them we don't know. So the full list is George Papadopoulos, Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, Michael Flynn, 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies, Richard Panito, Alex Vanderswan, Konstantin Kaliminik, well, hold on, sorry, 24 through 35, 12 Russian GRU officers. Russian military intelligence services were charged with crimes related to the hacking and leaking of leading Democrats' emails in 2016. However, they can't be arrested because they are in Russia. 36, Michael Cohen. 37, Roger Stone. The 5 ex-Trump aides who struck a plea deals with Mueller. So, however, the most publicized was Roger Stone, and that's just cause Robert Mueller's all up in CNN's ass. I guarantee that. I guarantee that. They have butt sex together. I guarantee it. Pardon my French, but they do. And yes, I know I'm sniffing and snorting a whole lot. That's because my nose is running. It's been running all day. I've been trying to catch it. LOL. So, anyway. All day long we've heard from Michael Cohen on all the things that he's did. He started, and before they even got started, if you're looking on this page, Republicans on attack in Michael Cohen testimony, Michael Cohen was supporting Trump. He's a Republican, and all of a sudden he switched sides after the Democrats gave him a plea deal using Article 35 of the New York it's a law for federal guidelines for the criminal justice system. Is called Article 35 or Motion 35, which allows anyone who's made a deal with the federal government to allow them to cooperate in order to get a lesser sentence. Anyway, Mr. Jordan there, the very first thing he had to say was that the Democrats had allowed Michael Cohen to give them the evidence that was going to be used in today's hearing that morning at 7:30. They received the evidence for that at 7:30. They didn't receive it yesterday. So that just goes to show you what evidence and who was at that committee hearing meeting yesterday. Evidently, Jordan wasn't there. No telling who else wasn't there. As a matter of fact, yesterday at 12:30, the oversight committee chairman who was presiding over the whatchamacallit today was with Nancy Pelosi yesterday, trying to sign in HB 4, a House Bill 4. That was at 12:30 during lunch. And I don't know when that meeting concluded. I just know it was yesterday. So Mr. Jordan popped in as soon as it opened, stating that Michael Cohen's defense team gave him evidence for today's hearing this morning, and he didn't think that was fair because they didn't have time to look at it, which tells me yesterday's hearing was, I'm guessing, Democrats. It was all Democrats, I'm assuming. So they did have a hearing yesterday, but I'm assuming that no Republicans went to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have complained. They would have saw all that evidence yesterday. And yes, that is the truth. That has to be the truth because the chairman actually had the evidence yesterday, and they wanted to postpone the hearing for 30 minutes or so they could look at it. So yeah, the Democrats yesterday had a closed door meeting with Cohen, and then saw the evidence, and then the Republicans weren't there. So that has to be what happened. So yeah, that makes sense. So that was Mr. Jordan. That was his first thing right off the bat. And so it, like I said, it went into Michael Cohen talking about how badly he embarrassed himself, his family, his misdirection, how he should have known better than to be a partner with Trump. knowing that he was such a bad person. So after that, they went into testimony. And believe it or not, race came up in this at around 4 o'clock. Senator Tlaib, is that her name? Senator Tlaib, all of a sudden brought race into it. But they had been talking about race previously, but she had an opinion on that. I think she was calling a senator a racist when that senator he was a white senator, and that senator has, I guess, maybe he's an uncle to mixed race children, and he got upset. Anyway, we'll go to YouTube and I'll show you about what happened. And yes, I'm going to my channel because you know what? I had it on there. I had it on there. So I live streamed it. So yeah, we're going to my channel. Well, where's my videos? Ah, here we go. So anyway, there's 3 parts. The first one's an hour and 45 minutes. I actually had to do it in 3 parts because YouTube doesn't like you to run over 2 minutes. And I need to listen to this on my end because
Cohen, former attorney to President Donald Trump.
Mr. Chairman, I have a point of order. Rule F.
So this is the part where Mr. Jordan starts talking about, or I'm sorry, not Mr. Jordan, but Mr. Meadows started talking about him not having the evidence. So that's what went on there. That happened there. And am I hung up? I guess not. I may be hung up. I don't know. So he threw a fit over that for about a good 20 minutes. Mr. Cummings, the chairman, I'm guessing he's the one who actually didn't want them to stop, and the Republicans didn't get a chance to actually look at the evidence until today. So that means that as I said yesterday, they did not even have the Republicans wasn't even in the closed door meeting. That means the Democrats were. And I know I'm repeating myself, and I'm sorry for that. So, anyway, they go on to giving their open statements and all that, and then they start asking questions. They start asking questions mainly about Trump and his affiliation with WikiLeaks, his affiliation with Russia, his affiliation with Stormy Daniels, his business dealings, his high school records. Yes, high school records. They wanted to know what his grades were in high school. They wanted to know what his grades were, his SAT scores were. They wanted to know everything that has to do about college. They wanted to know if he had any of that paperwork. They wanted to know if they had any financial statements. And for them to ask for his SAT scores, that's just that. I've never heard anything like that before in my life. A president usually doesn't even disclose that. Usually they don't disclose their education. They just disclose their tax returns, and that's optional. You don't actually have to do that. And the Senate hearing, the senators that are against Trump make it seem like it's a have-to thing. It's required of you as a president to disclose everything. Now, he goes on to say that he's Michael Cohen was there for just about everything that went on, the Russia dealings. He was there. He paid Stormy Daniels the money. And they ask him where all this evidence is. So he pops up with the evidence. So I'm going to show you what that evidence is. That evidence is a check made out to Donald Trump for $35,000. It's written out to Michael Cohen. It's signed by Donald Trump. And it gives no address, or I'm sorry, not an address. It gives no. It doesn't show what it's for. Here's another check for $35,000, made out by Donald J. Trump, revocable trust account, made to Michael D. Cohen Esquire, and that doesn't show what that check was for. It just shows that money was given to Michael Cohen. That money could have been given to Michael Cohen for 8 kilos of cocaine. The only evidence that they had that those checks went to Stormy Daniels is Michael Cohen's testimony. That's it. As you know, Michael Cohen lied. Now, the rest of the evidence that's flashing on the screen is going to be articles from MSNBC or NBC. Trump, Obama, a terrible student, not good enough for Harvard. And that continues on to the next page. That's an article from NBC stating that Trump got bad grades in school. And the next thing is the remainder of that article. So the rest of his evidence for the crimes that they say Trump committed, and I'll get to that part in a minute about the crimes, is these posts like this. As you're seeing on the screen, it's a tweet. His wife and father-in-law, those are tweets from Donald Trump. This was Michael Cohen's evidence. A tweet is not evidence. Here is a tweet from Nancy Pelosi as evidence from February 20th. Michael Cohen will come before the Oversight Dems and at Oversight Dems and at House Intel committees next week. The next page, this document is Donald Trump's net worth. His assets net worth. These documents are from 2013. So, and this is not everything. He just put some stuff together, and these are out of a book, actually. Here's another one from June 2012 of Statement of Financial Condition for Trump. Total assets. $5 billion. He's a billionaire. So here's another one, another financial statement from 2013. So this is all that he brought in. Michael Cohen didn't bring in any evidence showing that the president committed anything. He didn't bring any evidence with him showing that President Trump committed fraud, election fraud, campaign fraud. It doesn't even show that he even paid payments to Stormy Daniels. Here's an article out of a magazine. It looks to be a fashion magazine about Trump high art, in which Michael Cohen stated that Trump had paid him to go buy a piece of art that was selling and told him to buy it for the highest amount he could. And that art now sits in one of Trump's offices at a golf course, just so he could raise the price of the art. And you know what? That's actually what artists do. They do that exact same thing. Every one of them. My wife's an artist. She knows how it works. Art is just as political as anything. So, it starts back all over with the evidence. So, at one point in time, I'm going to find that for you. At one point in time, during the afternoon, which is going to be in this part 3, it asked Mr. Jordan, let me find it. Give me 1 second. I think this may be it. No, that's not him. Or it's not Mr. Jordan. I'm sorry. It's another senator. But the senator actually asked him if let me find it. I'm sorry. If any of the evidence that he's brought forth shows proof of what everybody is saying Trump did, or everything illegal, and he says, I can't answer that. He says he doesn't know how to answer that. So let me find that for you. I should have queued that up.
Soon my freedom.
Actually, that's Michael Cohen's
You don't attack me.
When asked about this, they said, "Call them liars." That statement.
that's Michael Cohen's closing statement, so it may be on the second part at the end. Well, where is it? Let me find it. By federal Hey, I need you to bring something so the people can believe it. Yeah, that's me talking. Give me 1 second and I'll find it for you. They won't go by just your word. So they bring these documents and his testimony. And that's it. And the documents don't show any proof. And presidency, you know, I'm gonna something about that. Alright, I'm back. So, I wanted to stop it right there. Sorry it took forever. I didn't mean to. So, I wanted just to stop right there. Wow, that's even up there. Okay. And I'm gonna let you all listen to this. Let me get rid of the music there. Let me get rid of Cohen there. And I'm going to let y'all listen to this, what he asked.
Pointing to me that this committee and its chairman chose to spend our time in questioning an individual that has zero probative value and zero credibility, instead of spending our limited time focusing on improving the lives of Americans, creating jobs, or streamlining the functioning of our federal government. Yet here we are, taking testimony from a convicted liar and not someone who has just lied to his clients, family, or friends.
I think his name's Greg Stube.
Lied to this body. He lied to Congress through false statements.
Listen to what he says.
He lied to Congress through his testimony. He then amplified his false statements by releasing and repeating his lies to the public, including the other potential witnesses. Yet now, we on this committee and the American people are expected to believe Mr. Cohen's testimony. I don't know a juror in America that would believe anything Mr. Cohen says given his past actions and lies. Mr. Cohen, you stood before multiple congressional committees before today and raised your right hand and swore an oath to be honest. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you lied to those congressional committees. Is that correct?
Previously?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You stated that Trump never directed you to lie to Congress. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Therefore, you lied to Congress on your own accord and then admitted to lying to Congress, correct?
I've already stated my piece on that. I knew what he wanted me to do. I was staying on party line.
But he never directed you to lie to Congress?
He did not use those words, no.
In your evidence that you provided this committee a mere 2 hours before the hearing started, were payments made to you by Mr. Trump, correct?
Amongst other things, yes.
Yet other than your testimony here today, there is absolutely no proof that those specific payments were for those specific purposes. Is that correct?
It's my testimony that the check that I produced as part of this testimony, the $35,000, and then the second check that's signed by Alan Weisselberg and Don Trump Jr., were 2 checks out of the 11 that were meant for the reimbursement of the hush money payment to Stormy Daniels.
So in your testimony on page 13, you claim, and I quote, Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being tracked back to him that could negatively impact his campaign. Do you have any proof of this direction?
Just the payment, sir.
That was my wife.
So no email?
Say hi, wife. No,
Mr. Trump doesn't have email.
So no recording?
No.
I do not have recordings, no.
No text message?
Mr. Trump doesn't text message.
So no direction other than your testimony today that that's what the payment was for?
And the fact that I paid on his behalf, at his direction, the money to Keith Davidson's IOLA account. You're right, there's no other documentation I have.
So nothing that you produced as part of your exhibits prove that President Trump directed you in any way to make that payment?
I don't even know how to answer that, sir.
Well, it's pretty simple. There's nothing in the evidence that shows, or the exhibits that you provided today, that show that Trump directed you to make those payments.
That is fucking funny.
Other than the non-disclosure agreement that has been seized by government authorities and is widely shown, I don't believe there's anybody out there that believes that I just decided to pay $130,000 on his behalf.
Well, you were his attorney for over 10 years.
That doesn't mean that I pay $130,000.
Well, it doesn't also mean that he wasn't paying you for representation of counsel.
Okay.
So how did President Trump even know you had a HELOC?
I'm so sorry, sir?
How did President Trump even know you had a HELOC?
because we discussed it, because I told him the same thing, that I didn't want my wife to find out about it. And as one additional, Rudy Giuliani himself came out and expressed that Mr. Trump reimbursed me for the money that was spent.
And you know, everything that he's saying is nothing but
hearsay. Did you tell
hearsay.
Chris Como that you had no access to Mr. Trump
Nothing
during
but
October
hearsay.
and
That's all
November
it is.
2016?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to.
Your interview with Chris Como.
I would need to see the document.
Did you also tell Chris Como that you made these payments without telling Mr. Trump because you wanted to protect Mr. Trump?
And I was protecting Mr. Trump.
And you told him that you made these payments without telling him?
When I said that, if that's what I said to Chris Cuomo, yes, that was my line.
And if this unsupported claim was true, then it would be part of an ongoing investigation as evidence of a crime, and the Department of Justice would not let you discuss it during your testimony here today. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Someone's time has expired. Did you answer?
Yes, I
That
did
is
want to say one
just
last thing.
that's fabulous.
Not only did I lie to the American people, I lied.
You
to the
know,
First
he's
Lady.
being told
When
by the
President called me,
Democrats
I
to
was sitting in a car with a friend of mine.
come out and say what he's
And he
got
had me
because
speak
there's
to
no
her and
evidence that
explain to the
that
First
anything
Lady.
even happened.
So
he doesn't even
the
have
answer is
proof.
there-
The paperwork he has
You're not accurate.
would
I-
not
I
even
don't
stand
feel
up
good
in
about
court.
any
That's why
of this,
they're in a Senate
and
hearing
this was not my
committee.
intention.
That's why they're here.
Sorry.
That's why they're
Thank
not
you,
in a
Mr.
courtroom.
Chairman. I just want to put on the record as being a black American and having in
So, you know, it took me long enough to find that, but it was well worth it. It was well worth it. So anyway, I'm going to jump off here. I just wanted to show that little bit. That Senate hearing committee, all this Russia crap is nothing but a veil or a mask to hide what's really going on in the government. And I guarantee you that Mike Pence has something to do with that. I guarantee you it's to try to hide the fact that we're getting ready to go to World War III. And not only that, but you have to understand that that the government has been looking for a fight from North Korea, from all the way from one side of the ocean to the middle of the ocean to back around the world again. North Korea, Iran, Russia, Syria, Venezuela, anybody they can find a way to start a war with, that's what they're doing. As a matter of fact, Russia has seen troop movements from the United States. So I'm just saying, that's what's going to happen. So get ready for World War III. And you heard it straight from Michael Cohen. Everything he's saying is hearsay. All the evidence is hearsay. There's no proof. All right. Peace out, everybody.